My name is Michael Shikatano, and this is Right Here, Right Now, a podcast to inspire the learner inside each of us. In a world that is full of so much information, we will help find and package that information so that you can use it in your lives every day in practical ways. And in each episode, we will remind you of the importance of being present and mindful of your daily thoughts, actions, and interactions. It is truly the most vital step to learning and growth, being mindful and present right here, right now, to take on life's challenges and turn them into life's lessons. So come on this venture with us, a new beginning, a new journey that starts right here, right now. Welcome back, people. I am Michael Shikatano, your host of Right Here, Right Now. And today, this is a mindfulness intention that comes as a follow-up as promised from the Unleashing Our Discipline episode from last week. And I want you to know that I began to work on this creative work of the mindfulness intention on discipline even before picking out the handful of lessons from Ryan Holiday's book, Discipline is Destiny, that we used in our latest episode. And I urge you to go back and listen. It will definitely be a nice listen paired with this mindfulness intention on discipline. And I started working on this before I picked out those principles because as I was reading his masterpiece, I began to think that discipline requires so much of our energy and requires so many different virtuous ways of being. So I began to kind of follow a stream of thought. And of course, this became a focus for me, right? Focus, focus, focus. And I began to write out thoughts and ideas on how we can think about discipline and what we can all do to work toward a more disciplined approach to life. This, right? A journey that will lead us to a path of learning with some obstacles that we know will come, a journey we must all traverse to integrate all of the attributes that will lead to a disciplined life, or at the very least, the capacity to be more disciplined. And to say that we are disciplined or that we have discipline is like us saying that we are done with our journey, right? We must persist and resist, as Epictetus tells us. There's a constant challenge to show up and do what needs to be done for the right reasons. So as the words flow out and you are mindful of the thoughts that are evoked, keep in mind that all of these virtues are necessary at various times, and each is a tool from your arsenal of being a great doer and a great master of the insight of employing the right virtue at the right moment in time in just the right balance for you in your life. And then in this intention, we pose a question, a deliberate and perhaps disciplined approach to our curiosity here, where learning manifests in our minds and hearts to spark some change or action toward discipline. And what am I talking about here? So the lines flowed, and we're talking about things that we need for discipline. And then I pose a question on how we can kind of reflect in this intention, right? And so in this particular mindfulness intention, I use the words requires and demands, as in discipline requires persistence, persistence demands resilience. And that's from one of the lines in the intention that you're about to hear. And the flow of the thoughts allows us to perhaps notice the interconnectedness between some of the behaviors and concepts that I think are required for our journey to greater discipline. However, I was toying with this. We really must understand that discipline also invites these things, to me, as a harmonious cycle that kind of leads to being more persistent, again, in this example, in the line that I'm talking about, which then in turn strengthens our resilience. So you might hear it, discipline invites persistence, and persistence strengthens resilience. So I toyed with the idea of which one to use. And you may have to listen here with intentionality, right? Slowing ourselves down a bit right here, right now. And then maybe listen again, perhaps with a friend. And maybe I even turn this upside down and recreate this intention with the alternate words invites and strengthens in place of requires and demands. However, I think just knowing that each of the virtues and its result is a beautiful and perpetual cycle of being better human beings on the path, at least for now, to being more disciplined in life. But first, to gain from the insights here and learn from many of your lessons in life on being better disciplined, of course, we must be mindful and present and deeply focused on the here and now, right here, right now. So begin to get present and begin to be mindful with a nice, slow, deep breath in, being present, and a slow, deep breath out, being mindful. I'm honored to share this. Here is my mindfulness intention on discipline that I have created for each of you. Discipline requires action. Action demands focus. How can we act in a focused way today? Discipline requires reflection. Reflection demands curiosity. How can curiosity in our reflections be helpful today? Discipline requires compassion. Compassion demands perspective. Can we look for how a shift in perspective aids in our compassion? Discipline requires persistence. Persistence demands resilience. How does our resilience allow us to persist through the turbulence? Discipline requires strength. Strength demands self-control. How does self-control summon our strength when more of us is required? Discipline requires patience. Patience demands stillness. How will stillness improve our capacity to be more patient? Discipline requires sacrifice. Sacrifice demands balance. How does a sense of balance allow us to sacrifice the easy for the hard? Discipline requires humility. Humility demands security. How does our security benefit the humility required to just keep doing? Discipline requires self-love. Self-love demands acceptance. How will being more accepting of ourselves today lead to greater self-love? Discipline requires consciousness. Consciousness demands presence. How can a more present mind lead to a more conscious level of awareness? Discipline requires attention. Attention demands mindfulness. How can our mindful presence lead to the attention that our purpose and calling deserves? Be present and be mindful right here, right now. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you next time. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you next time, right here, right now.